Most people who discover human design learn their type, maybe read a couple of blog posts about it, what it means to be a generator or a projector, put it in their Instagram bio, and stop there. And then they wonder why knowing their type didn't actually change anything in their business. It didn't change anything because your type is like 10% of the picture. There are at least 4 foundational layers of your design that directly impact how you should be running your business. I'm going to walk you through those 4 today with real examples of what each one actually looks like in practice. And the 3rd layer is the one that blew my mind because when I finally understood it, it explained a pattern I'd been stuck in for years. I'm Jenna. I'm a human design expert and business strategist, and you're watching the 9 a.m. download on Pajamas and Profit, the channel where we talk about what's actually going on in your business when you're doing all the things and it's still not working. Don't forget to hit that like button, share this video with your entrepreneur besties, and if you haven't already yet, be sure to subscribe so you don't ever miss a single download. Okay. So here's what I see happening constantly, and it's honestly one of my biggest frustrations with how human design is being taught in the online business space right now. Someone discovers human design. They learn they're a projector or a generator or a manifester. They read some stuff about their type and they go, okay, cool. So I'm a projector. That means I should wait for invitations and not work too hard. Or I'm a generator. That means I should follow my sacral response and stay busy. And then they try to apply that surface level understanding to their entire business, and it doesn't really change anything because the application is too vague to be actionable. And I get it because that's exactly where I was. I learned I was a projector and I thought, great, I need to slow down. And I did slow down and my business still wasn't working because slow down is not a business strategy. It's a bumper sticker. It's true, but it's not useful on its own. What nobody told me was that my type was just the entry point, the door. And behind that door were layers of my design that were infinitely more practical and specific and game-changing for my business than just knowing I was a projector. And when I finally learned how to actually use those layers, that's when things shifted. They didn't shift in this, like, I feel more aligned way. They shift in this, I stopped making decisions that cost me money and energy kind of way. In my offers, finally started converting because they were structured for my actual design kind of way. So I want to walk you through those 4 layers that I think every entrepreneur needs to understand about their human design, not just conceptually, but practically, what each one means for real business decisions. The first layer, beyond your type, and honestly, the one that I think matters more than type for business is your authority. This is how you're designed to make decisions. Not what decisions to make, how to make them. There are 7 authorities in human design, and each one operates completely differently. And here's why I think this matters so much for your business. Think about how many decisions you make in a single week as an entrepreneur. Pricing decisions, offer decisions, whether to take on a new client, whether to launch something, whether to invest in a program, whether to pivot, whether to stay the course, whether to post that thing or not post that thing. Every single one of those decisions has a correct process for your body. And if you're making them all from your head, from logic, from pros and cons lists, from asking 5 friends for their opinion, from what makes the most sense on paper, you're almost certainly overriding your authority on a regular basis. And that is why decisions don't stick. That's why you make a choice, feel good about it for like 3 days, and then end up reversing it. That's why you've changed your niche 4 times this year. You're deciding from the wrong place. So for me, I'm splenic authority. My decisions come through this instantaneous body knowing, a hit, a download. It happens in the moment, and if I don't catch it right then, it's gone. Which means every piece of business advice that tells me to sit with it, to take 48 hours before I decide, to gather more information, all of that is well-intentioned advice that actively works against my design. My body already decided. The delay just gives my mind time to talk me out of what I already know. If you're an emotional authority, your process is completely different. You need the time. You need to ride that emotional wave and feel the decision from multiple states before you have clarity. For you, making a snap decision is the mistake. You need to sleep on it, maybe for several days. And the clarity doesn't come at the peak of excitement or the valley of doubt. It comes in the middle, in the stillness between the highs and the lows. That's where your truth lives. If you're sacral authority, you need something or someone to respond to. You can't generate clarity from a blank page. You need a yes or no question, a concrete option in front of you, something your sacral can respond to with that gut, or Open-ended brainstorming sessions, are your worst nightmare because your sacral doesn't respond to abstractions. It responds to specifics. Those are the 3 most common of the 7 human design authorities. There are 4 more, and each one has its own mechanics for how decisions should be made in your business. I go deep into all 7 with my clients inside the Business Recalibration Lab, which is my monthly membership where we take your full human design chart and map it onto real business decisions. Your offers, your pricing, your capacity, your visibility strategy, all of it. If you want to go check that out, I'll link that in the description. But for today, the point I want you to take away is this. However your authority works, learning to actually use it instead of defaulting to your head every time is the single biggest unlock available to you as an entrepreneur. The decisions stick, the reversals stop, the endless second guessing quiets down, not because you've developed more confidence, but because you're finally using that part of you that was designed to decide. The second layer is your profile. This is probably the most underutilized piece of human design in business, and it's incredibly practical once you understand it. So your profile is made up of 2 numbers. You might have seen them, like 5-1, 3-5, 6-2, and each number describes a different aspect of how you move through the world. One is more conscious, the other more unconscious. And together they tell you 2 things that are critical for your business: how you're designed to learn and grow, and how other people experience you. Let me give you some real examples because this gets tangible fast. I'm a 5-1. The 5 is the heretic. People project onto line 5s. They see you and they project expectations, solutions, answers. They want you to be the person who fixes their problem. And if you deliver on that projection, you're seen as a savior. If you don't, you're a villain. There's not a lot of middle ground there. That projection field has massive implications for how I market, how I position my offers, and how I manage client expectations. If I don't deliver on what people project onto me, the fallout is real. So my offers need to be built in a way that I can actually deliver on the promise every time. The 1 in my profile is the investigator. I need to research deeply before I feel secure enough to share anything publicly. I can't just wing it. I can't just put myself out there without having done the deep dive first. When I try to share something I haven't fully investigated, I feel exposed and insecure, and it comes across in my content. But when I've gone deep and I truly know my material, I'm unshakable. That's the 1-line foundation. So what does that mean for my business? Practically, it means my content works best when I go deep on a specific topic rather than skimming the surface of many. It means my marketing is most effective when I'm positioned as someone who has the answer to a specific problem, because that's what people are already projecting onto me. And it means I need time to research and prepare before I teach anything, which affects how I schedule my content creation. Your profile is going to tell you something completely different. A 3-5 learns through trial and error, through breaking things and figuring out what works by experiencing what doesn't. Building a business as a 3-5 means your path is going to look messy from the outside, and that's not a problem, it's the process. Trying to build a perfectly linear business plan before you've experimented is actually working against your design. Now, a 6-2 goes through 3 distinct life phases and has a natural gift that they often can't see in themselves. Marketing as a 6-2 looks different than marketing as a 1-3 or a 5-1 or a 3-5. The way you build trust with your audience, the way you attract clients, the way you structure your visibility, all of it is shaped by your profile. And most people are not teaching this. They stop at you're a projector and never get into the nuance of which projector you are and what that means for the actual tactical decisions in your business. There are 12 profiles in human design, and I only touched on 3 just now. Each one has its own implications for how you market, how you build trust with your audience, and how you structure your visibility. I'll be going deeper into profiles in a future episode, so make sure you're subscribed here so you don't miss that one. Okay, layer 3. This is the one I said blew my mind, and I meant it. Your defined and undefined centers. When you look at a human design body graph, you've got 9 centers. Some are colored in, those are defined. Some are left white, those are undefined or open. Most people learn about this as defined means consistent. Undefined means you absorb energy from others in that area, which is true. But the way it applies to business is so much deeper than the surface explanation. Let me tell you what I mean. Your undefined centers are where you take in and amplify the energy of the people around you. That's the textbook definition. But in your business, your undefined centers are where you're most susceptible to making decisions based on energy that isn't yours. Do you have an undefined ego center? You might be constantly trying to prove your worth through your business, overworking, undercharging, saying yes to everything because you're trying to prove that you're valuable enough. That drive to prove isn't coming from you. It's coming from absorbing other people's willpower, energy, and thinking it's yours. Do you have an undefined solar plexus? You're absorbing everyone else's emotions and amplifying them. That client who's stressed about their launch, you feel their stress times 10. And then you make decisions on your business from that amplified emotional state that has nothing to do with your own truth. Or what if you have an undefined root? The pressure of an undefined root. You feel that urgency that is not yours. You feel like everything needs to happen right now. Like you're running out of time. Like if you don't launch this week, it'll be too late. That pressure is not coming from your business reality. It's coming from your undefined root, absorbing the pressure energy of the world around you. But here's the piece that I think most people miss entirely. Conditioning doesn't just live in your undefined centers. It also shows up in your defined centers through suppression, where you dim down your consistent energy because the world told you it was too much or not the right way. And it shows up in your type, your strategy, your authority, your profile, your gates, your channels. Conditioning is everywhere. It's not just an open center problem. It's a whole design problem. And when you can see where your conditioning is driving your business decisions versus where your actual design is driving them, that is where the real recalibration happens. That's when you stop building from patterns that were never yours and start building from the energy that actually belongs to you. Now, here's the piece that I think matters the most. None of these layers work in isolation. Your type tells you how your energy operates. Your authority tells you how to make decisions. Your profile tells you how you learn, how you show up, how people experience you. Your centers tell you where you're consistent and where you're absorbing conditioning. But it's the way they all interact together that gives you the full picture. A splenic projector with a 5-1 profile and an undefined root is going to build a completely different business than an emotional generator with a 3-5 profile and an undefined ego center. Not just a different schedule or a different posting frequency, a different offer structure, a different decision-making process, a different relationship with urgency, a different marketing approach, a different capacity. Everything is different because the design underneath is different. And this is why I get so frustrated when I see human design for business being reduced to what's your type? Because type alone cannot tell you any of this. It's one variable in a much bigger equation. And when people try to build a business strategy from type alone, they get a strategy that's slightly better than the generic one, but still nowhere close to what their actual design requires. This is what I do. This is what the business recalibration method is built on. It's not just, oh, you're a projector, slow down. It's looking at the full picture of someone's design, the type, the authority, the profile, the centers, the gates, the channels, and then mapping that onto real business decisions. What should your offer structure look like? How should you make pricing decisions? What's your actual capacity? Where are you absorbing conditioning that's distorting your strategy? All of it. If you're watching this and realizing that you've been working with maybe 10% of your design and wondering why it hasn't changed much, start with my free Business Recalibration for Spiritual Entrepreneurs. It's a quiz that'll show you where your business is specifically out of alignment and what to address first. And if you don't have your chart yet, I've linked a free chart generator in the description too. Get your chart, take the quiz, and start seeing the full picture. All resources that I mentioned in this video are linked down below in the description. That's your 9 a.m. download for today. I'll see you next week.